So we are going to be looking at creating some of the summative paperwork. And the first thing we're going to be doing is creating a worksheet. And we're going to have to put the heading on it, and the first two columns are the trial balance sections of this worksheet. Consistent reporting means that we are doing the same things over every accounting period, and so that we're having consistent reporting. The length of time in which a business summarizes its financial information is called a fiscal period. A fiscal period does not have to be the same as a calendar year. They sometimes are. I know of some businesses, though, that will have their fiscal period start in the summer and end in the summer. So they'll start in August to July on a year. So it's not always a fiscal period does not have to equal 12 the January through December. It could be any 12 consecutive months. The column or accounting form used to summarize this in the general ledger information is a worksheet. We're going to use it to help us when we have it's the more basic one for when we have sole proprietorship. It's going to help us summarize where everything is, the debits and credits, and also it's going to help us see what needs to be updated. We're going to have some adjustments that maybe need to be done, and then we'll do the account balances according to those statements. We're going to calculate the amount. We're going to calculate the amount of the net income or net loss for a fiscal period. Most of the time in this book, we're doing more perfect world scenarios, and so we do have more net incomes that are reported than net losses, but we need to be able to determine if it's a net income or a net loss. If you have net income, that means your profits, your revenue was greater than your expenses. If you have a net loss, your expenses were greater than your revenue. So let's go ahead and prepare the heading for our worksheet. And so to prepare the heading for your worksheet, you will put the name of the company, worksheet, for the month ending, whatever month it is, January 31st, 2020. And so our worksheet, we're going to be looking at filling in the trial balances, which is basically you're going to go to the bottom of each of your accounts, and we look at the individual account and record whether it was a debit or a credit balance total at the end. And you'll notice that they tend to follow the same pattern. You'll see that they group pretty heavily, although there are some that will flip opposite. Sometimes you'll have something that doesn't have any expenses recorded in. Income summary is always going to be blank. So we'll write the account titles in that first column, and they'll write their balance. You will draw a single line at the bottom of it, which in this case we're doing it in the computer. The computer draws that single line for us. And you'll total up your debits, and it should equal the total of your credits. If you don't get them to equal the total, you did something wrong. I often use Google Sheets to help me with my totals. That way I don't have to worry about not be able to find where I misentered my numbers. With a Google Sheet, I can actually see where my numbers came from, and therefore can see the mistake. And then you put a double rule underneath. So what is written on the 3 lines of the heading of the worksheet? The name of the business, the name of the report, and the date of the report. Which general ledger accounts are listed in the trial balance columns on the worksheet? All of them, even if they do not have a balance. You just don't record a balance if they don't have a balance. So let's go ahead and look at doing this process. So to start off with, We are working for Fix It Now. And so we need to put that as our name of our company. And then the next thing that we're going to record, we're doing the worksheet. So worksheet, the name of the page that we're doing. And the last one is your date. And it says for April, and it says not to abbreviate the date. And April has 30 days in that month. So the last day of April is 30. And 20 dash dash. Oops. Oh, I forgot to put for the month ending in April 30th of 2020. So on your row 3, make sure you put it as for the month ending April 30th of 2020. So like I said, that we are filling in the trial balance. We're filling in the first 2 columns of data. These other 4 are not going to, or other 3 sets are not going to be filled in, and we're going to slowly build into filling those in. So today we are just working on filling in our debits and our credits. They even were kind to you and didn't make you pull it off of the individual accounts, because this would have pulled off of those reports that y'all were doing last chapter. This would have been pulled off of those reports. And so cash had a total of $49.00. $75 was our petty cash. $13.87. Something about 2 3s. 228.100. And then prepaid insurance is $375. Accounts payable, Southside Supplies, was $267. Our capital account was $7,443. Our drawing account was $1,700. Income summary, like I said, is blank. Sales, which is our revenue, was $2,160. Advertising expense was $460. Cash short and over was $6. We didn't have any insurance expenses to report. Our miscellaneous expense was $189. We didn't have any supply expenses, and our utilities expense was $550. Now we got to total each of these columns. And so, like I said, I typically will pull up a sheet and do it off of that. So I have my sheet up, and so just pulling in the information: 4,900, 75, 1387, 228, 375, and then the next ones are over in the credit. So let's go down to the 1700, and then over in the credit, 460, 6, 8, 189, 550. And then I'm going to go ahead and list my credits: 267, 7,443, and 22160. And so I total up those 2 numbers. And so if I highlight the numbers down at the bottom, it'll tell me a sum. So the sum was 9870. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down over here. And then I should have the same number when I total up my credits. If not, I did something wrong. So I had the same number, so I did it good. 9870. And grade that step. And then y'all will do the same thing on yours, except for just remember, don't make the same mistake I did. It is for the month ending April 30th to 2020, or 20 dash dash.